Hello, everyone. Welcome back to this week's episode of Mocktail Minutes. This is Bailey.
And this is Brianna.
This week I am drinking, I think is it called Poppy Punch or Punch Pop or something? It's the poppy drink in the white can. It's like the punch flavor, something like that.
Yeah.
It's really good. It tastes like, I would say high C. I think it's good. I
Nice.
enjoy.
Yeah. I finally got my just ingredients in. They were actually in last week. They were just in my mailbox and I haven't checked
Oh,
it.
perfect.
But I'm doing the guava mango. I really like it, but it's a really subtle, I feel like it's a subtle flavor, so you can't add it to a Stanley. I mean, you can, but it doesn't taste like much.
Yeah.
It makes me get them in faster, so.
Yes. This week we are talking about understanding your CMP. So this is what is typically ordered when you like go to your doctor's office. Probably like your routine labs, it's going to be a CMP. Stands for
Mhm.
a Comprehensive Metabolic Panel. And it measures 14 like biomarkers that are looking at your electrolytes, your kidney function, your liver function, blood sugar, and even like protein status and nutrition. So it's kind of just like a quick little snapshot as to how well your body is maintaining balance. Our body really likes balance, it likes routine, it likes consistency. So this is a good place to start.
Yeah. And this is what when your doctor runs blood work, like Bailey said, this is what they're ordering. So there's 14 different components to the CMP. So the first one is glucose. So typically you're fasting, and so it should be a fasting glucose. Optimal would be under 90. And if you don't know, glucose is your primary source of energy. So elevated levels may indicate diabetes, especially if you're fasting and you haven't eaten. In theory, your blood sugar should be low. I will say this is one I try to tell people don't fully panic on because I feel like a lot impacts your fasting glucose, like how long you've been awake, were you stressed getting out the door, like all those things. So just a fasting glucose alone isn't enough to be like, oh, something's really wrong. I would say unless it's like over 110, then I'm like, okay, there's probably something going on. But if it's like 95, I'm like,
Yeah.
not optimal,
That's
but
where, yes, I think a CGM can kind of be helpful sometimes because it's giving you more consistent
yeah,
information. Like you're getting a couple days, like 15 days, rather than just here's what happened today.
yeah,
Fun fact, every time I wear a CGM and my lab work, so I'm always in the normal range, but I am above optimal. A lot of it I need to do, like I've done a lot better at managing my stress, but then life is happening right now. And so
yeah,
I need to really prioritize that more. And then I
yeah.
also know from my HTMA test that my potassium, I don't have, I'm deficient in potassium. So that
Oh,
is what else I am focusing on because that's going to also affect your glucose. So this is where the lab test is like, it's telling us what's happening right now. And this is why I like to have, okay, labs are great, but also like the HTMA to take it a step further. Like I said, this is just kind of like beginning steps. Let's do a little bit of a check-in to see
yeah,
what's going on here.
yeah.
So yeah, for your glucose.
The next ones are going to be like 2, 3, and 4 are going to be your electrolytes. So this is going to be sodium, potassium, chloride. Your serum electrolytes are different than the hair tissue mineral analysis.
Yes.
So if you've like, no, my potassium's totally fine. I got my blood work. I'm in range, completely different than what it's doing in your cells. So sodium optimal is going to be 138 to 142, and this is helping to maintain fluid balance and nerve function. So too high of sodium can mean you're dehydrated or that you have high salt intake or that you're stressed. Low could mean overhydrated or adrenal insufficiency. And then really what you want to do is pay attention to what forms of sodium you're getting and how much, and then your balance of potassium with it.
And I would say it really does give a good insight as to, okay, what are the adrenals doing? And just that snapshot of
Yeah.
hydration because I mean, sometimes we have normal sodium, but when we take a deeper look, it's like, oh, we need to replenish that a little bit more and help your adrenals function a little bit better.
Yeah. That's your energy.
And then your potassium optimal levels are 4.4 to 4.7. So this is important for muscle contraction and your heart rhythm. Potassium is always a funny one because I guess it's not technically funny, but as a dietitian, this is the one that everyone's like, this is how you can kill people as a dietitian is overload on potassium
Yeah.
through like an IV or something.
Yeah.
Like food, you're not going to do that.
No.
But like when we're thinking what we're putting in IVs or like tube feeds,
Yeah.
potassium is definitely something we want to consider as a dietitian because it does affect your heart rhythm.
Yeah.
But if it's too high, this could be meaning, okay, do we have some kidney issues? Are we supplementing too much? Or if it's low, is this just due to not enough potassium rich foods? Are we on some diuretics or like vomiting? That's going to lower your
Mm.
potassium. So low intake is very actually common because it's found a lot in fruits and vegetables and just
Yeah.
typical American diet. We're not great
Yeah.
at fruits and vegetables all the time.
Yeah. This is why if you have high blood pressure, doctors are like, decrease your sodium. They're
Hmm.
missing out the part of increase your potassium, but it's easier to tell people, hey, don't eat as much salt. And instead of like, hey, we're trying to eat more fruits and vegetables, like people are just, it's hard to get them to eat fruits and vegetables. So you want a ratio. And then you have chloride. So chloride works with sodium to maintain that fluid balance and that acid base status, which sounds complicated, but basically it's another electrolyte that we need to maintain proper intracellular hydration.
Next one, carbon dioxide. So optimal, we want to see this like 23 to 30. And this is also going to reflect that acid base balance. So low could be an indication of like metabolic acidosis. So this could be related to like uncontrolled diabetes or again, kidney issues. If
Mhm.
it's high, this could be metabolic alkalosis, acid base balance here. So
Mhm.
this could be like vomiting or using diuretics. Acid base shifts can be influenced by the diet. So thinking like high protein, low vegetable diets versus like alkaline foods. Now, you don't have to necessarily follow like an acid diet or like an
Yeah.
alkaline diet. I mean, I've seen those kind of pop up to be trendy. You don't have to do this. Like your body is pretty good at regulating. If
Yeah.
you're having trouble keeping this balance, that's when you want to look deeper and see, okay, is there some minerals I need to replenish? What adjustments can I make to my diet? Start
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. It's going to be like either really, really high doses of something or really, really low. I shouldn't say intake or doses, I should say intake. If it was really easy to manipulate your carbon dioxide with just the foods that you're eating, everyone would be dead. Okay. So drinking your alkaline water is not really going to do much for you in the grand scheme of things. It's all about balance and then obviously like metabolic health. 6 and 7 is going to be your BUN and your creatinine. So this is really looking at your kidney function. So BUN stands for blood urine nitrogen. And so this is basically the breakdown product of protein. So this is where everyone seems to think, oh my gosh, if I eat a high protein diet, I'm killing my kidneys. That's old thinking. That's not true. But a high BUN could be, too high a protein intake or dehydration. I see that the most. Whenever
Yeah,
anyone
dehydration a
does it,
lot.
I'm like, you're probably dehydrated, especially because you're fasting. When you
Yep.
take these labs, you wake up like dehydrated a wee bit. So of course it's probably gonna be higher. But dehydration, high protein intake or kidney dysfunction. And then low would be poor protein intake or liver disease. And then creatinine, everyone,
Not to be confused with
yes, it is
creatine.
not
Not
creatine,
the
just so
same.
everybody knows. It is not the same. So don't worry about that. But this is a byproduct of muscle metabolism that is filtered by the kidneys. This is why it's very important if you have kidney disease that you're not rapidly losing weight because your kidneys have to filter out those byproducts. So high could mean kidney dysfunction. Again, your kidneys are just having a hard time filtering things. High muscle mass, high protein. Low would be low muscle mass or malnutrition. So this is just giving us a little snapshot. But I would say if you have things that are a little bit outside of the ranges for this, don't panic. You need to have other tests done to make sure like you actually have some sort of kidney disease. Most people
Mhm.
do not. You
Yeah.
will know.
And as a general disclaimer for this entire episode, this is not meant to be like we're going to diagnose you with kidney disease right
No.
now. We're just giving you general information so you can start to understand what does your CMP mean? What do all these numbers indicate? Just so you have a better understanding. This is not meant to help you like diagnose yourself with kidney disease or liver disease,
No, don't do that.
malnutrition,
Yeah.
anything like that.
Don't take it to ChatGPT and be like, I had high creatinine. What's going on? No, talk to your doctor. This is just, I feel like most people don't know what these things are. Anytime I go over labs with someone, they're like, I don't know. What are you looking for? I don't even know what this means. Everything's fine, I guess. So
Yeah.
yeah,
The next ones, I mean, we also have the BUN creatinine ratio.
yeah,
This can help distinguish kidney versus nutrition dehydration issues. So that's another important ratio to look at.
yeah.
And then part of it, liver enzymes. So AST and ALT. AST optimal is like 18 to 26. ALT optimal is 13 to 26. So
Hmm.
these are enzymes that are released when liver cells are damaged. So
Yeah.
if they're elevated, this could indicate fatty liver, overusing alcohol, hepatitis, could be due to medications. Now, when thinking about nutrition, this number is strongly linked to metabolic syndrome. It can also be linked to excess sugar or fructose, and we've had some episodes about that recently too, or
Hmm.
alcohol intake. And then we also have another one, ALP. So this one optimal is like 65 to 70 units per liter. And this is found in your liver, your bones, your intestines. So elevated ALP numbers could be related to like bone growth. It could also be like vitamin D deficiency and even like liver and gallbladder obstructions. So again, we're not saying your gallbladder is obstructed if your ALP is off.
No.
These we're just letting you know this is what things it could be related to. Some of these things we freak out about, and a lot of times, like, okay, how hydrated were you, especially like the
Yeah.
day before? So some of them are just simply related to dehydration, and that's why I think getting this at least yearly, doing a yearly lab check-in is helpful because you have trends and comparisons. Like you can notice, okay, what's consistently increasing, what's consistently decreasing,
Right.
and if we notice something is way off, then you can take a deeper dive. Like, do we need to look at something like an HTMA? Do we need some gut testing? Like, we can always look further into, okay, what's actually going on here?
Yeah. And I will say with your liver enzymes, like these can change pretty easily. So
Yes.
if you're coming off of a weekend of having some drinks or being really dehydrated or maybe eating a lot more fatty foods than you're used to, like you just kind of overdid it, these are probably going to be a little bit increased, at least your AST and ALT. Other things that kind of increase it would be like if you're drinking a lot of energy drinks
Yeah.
repeatedly, I've seen those have higher ones. That doesn't mean that you're having like intensive liver damage, but I mean, your liver is working a little bit harder. Maybe it doesn't like it. So definitely if they're increased, like go get it retested. Don't just think, oh my gosh, this is horrible. It's just a little red flag. It's something to be like, hey, monitor this, make some changes, go get some more tests. The next thing is going to be like your proteins. So total protein is a sum of albumin and globulin. That sounds really complicated. We'll get into what albumin and globulin is, but low means malnutrition or malabsorption or liver and kidney disease, and then high would be dehydration or inflammation in the body.
So then albumin, your optimal is 4 to 4.4. This
Mhm.
is your main blood protein. It helps maintain that fluid balance again. So this by itself, and I guess I will say with all this in general too, like we are looking at big picture things. So we're not
Mhm.
just going to take one lab and run with it. We kind of see, okay, how are they all related?
Mhm.
So low albumin could indicate like poor protein intake, liver disease, inflammation, or just malabsorption.
Mhm.
High is usually going to indicate like dehydration.
Yeah.
So nutrition wise, it can actually reflect like long-term protein status. How are we doing there?
Yeah.
And then globulin optimal is 2.8 to 3.5. So this includes antibodies and carrier proteins. If this number is high, this could indicate chronic inflammation or just like immune activation overall. If it's on the other side, if it's on the lower end, this could be poor nutrition, immune deficiency.
Mhm.
So with those two, we also have a ratio, the albumin to globulin ratio, ideal, 1.8 to 2.2. So this can help detect, do we have some malnutrition going on versus like immune or inflammatory conditions.
Yeah. And you have to think too, all this is a snapshot. Like when I look at serum blood, like these labs, snapshot in time, right now, this day, what's going on. it doesn't tell you huge big picture, but the trends might. So this is where you really do want to get it once a year, maybe twice a year if there's something you're really like
Yeah.
paying attention to, and like follow the trends because that's going to tell you like the bigger story of like what's going on with your health over time. And then like Bailey had mentioned the HTMA, that's more of like what's been going on with some of these minerals for a while, which may be different than what you're looking at right now, if that
Yep.
makes sense.
Yeah. So overall, I mean, we personally use this to screen for, do we have some underlying issues going on that we need to
Mhm.
target for? This is part of like the medical nutrition therapy we can offer as dietitians.
Yeah.
It can help us like monitor progress, especially if you have like diabetes, obesity, metabolic syndrome, or like kidney or liver conditions. It kind of lets us know what's going on inside the body that we can't necessarily see. And it can help us prioritize like what do we need to target nutrition wise that can help guide our recommendations as to what you need.
Yeah. And this is really important. Like why, or this is one of the reasons why it's really important to work with a dietitian, especially as you're getting older and you're aging. You may have multiple different issues going on, and you need someone who knows how to read labs and adjust dietary recommendations based on the whole picture, not just a very narrow. I mean, there's a difference. I think people don't understand how long dietitians go to school. Every single class we have is nutrition, nutrition, nutrition. Like we know
Yes.
like big picture. So there's a lot going into play. Your metabolic health is really important. Understanding how to follow those trends and have individualized interventions is really important.
Mm.
Yeah.
We hope this episode was helpful just to kind of give you a better idea of what we are looking at when we see a CMP. And we're actually going to build off this episode next week. We are going to come in and talk about some additional labs, like looking at cholesterol panel, thyroid panel, and some extra ones we like, especially like insulin.
Yeah.
So stay tuned for next week. We'll dive more into your labs, and we hope this was helpful. We'll talk to you
Bye.
guys soon. Bye.